lunch? Are we feeling good? Yep. Good. Okay, so I'm Jess. I'm the COO of The Fifth. The Fifth is a social and influencer agency. Can everyone hear us okay? I'm conscious. There's a little thing on the mic, on the headphones that you can turn up the volume if you need to, just so you know. So yeah, I'm Jess. I'm the COO of The Fifth. We're a social media and influence marketing agency. We've got offices across London and LA. This is going to be a slightly different format in terms of a fireside chat because I'm also going to be attempting to drive the slides behind me at the same time. I know I'm not very good at multitasking, so let's see how this is going to go. But anyway, I'm hoping this is going to be a really good session, regardless of my abilities to multitask. We're going to be deep diving into short-form content, and specifically the new darling of the social media world, YouTube Shorts. Oh my God, bad time to stumble. I'm hoping everyone's going to walk away with loads of insights. When Jesse and I caught up earlier in the week, he dropped so many gems, so no pressure, but I really hope you remember them all. But the data in this presentation comes from a proprietary AI tool that we've developed in the last few months at The Fifth. We have used it to analyse video content, literally frame by frame, and look at every single creative touch point all the way through. And today, ahead of this session, we've analysed all of Jesse's content across YouTube and looked at it in terms of how he drives engagement and to pull out some really interesting insights. So, what better way to introduce how YouTube Shorts works than with someone who is absolutely smashing it? And that person is, of course, Jesse Chuku, a.k.a. Chewkz. So Jesse's a creator whom we've had the pleasure of working with for, God knows, quite a few projects now, right? Yeah. And we've had the pleasure of working with YouTube over the last few years as they launched YouTube Shorts. We've worked with them across lots of their creator programs. And since working with them, we've worked with Jesse on quite a few of those specific projects, and he's managed to rack up across YouTube Shorts in total. I don't know if you've ever counted this up, but it's 2.2 billion views and 144 million engagements, which is obviously a mind-blowing amount. And his engagement rate is 21%, which I don't know if anyone else is aware, but that is a huge amount. It's kind of unheard of, particularly for big creators. So anyway, if you don't know Chewkz' content, you really should. I highly recommend that you subscribe to it. He is hilariously funny, and please give him a subscribe right now. Anyway, Jesse, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. This is an amazing environment to be speaking at. I'm really excited.
Wicked. And just before we dive into the insights, would you mind telling us a little bit about how you got into content creation, what your journey was?
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw how tall I am. I'm 6'8". I had my history. I was a professional basketball player. So I was playing professional basketball. Unfortunately, I suffered an injury, and COVID happened at the same time. And when that happened, I started making videos, and I realized that this is another side of me that I haven't really explored. It's having so much fun. And then I decided that, you know what, I want to go full-time with it and put all my efforts into that, and now I'm here.
Good for you. When we were talking before, you said that you'd create videos and just wouldn't even share them with your mates at first.
I used to just make for instance, my sister, I would make pranking videos of her when I was young and all this type of stuff, but I wouldn't share it online. When I started sharing my videos, it was a whole nother side, a whole nother element. I remember at the beginning, I was even nervous, putting my voice behind the videos. That was a whole, leap, outside of my comfort zone. So it's definitely been a journey, but now I've kind of approached it like I would an athlete. You're just always improving, always trying to find ways to get better. So
yeah, love that. Right, let's again remember to change the slide. The first trend our AI, can't say that, identified in your content is that in the opening 2 seconds, you find a way of grabbing the viewer's attention.
Yeah.
And to show everyone how that works in practice, we're going to share one of your videos now. This is one of Jesse's most popular videos. He gained 93 million views on this one, so it's one of my faves.
Well, the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only
you going, man? Come back. It went with the music. Your hat is whack.
So darling, darling, stand by me.
I love that video.
That was fun.
You follow this format quite a lot of remixing pre-existing like viral clips. I'd love to like hear a bit more about like how you landed on that strategy to sort of find that this worked well for you.
Yeah. At the time that I started getting into TikTok, there was a lot of like really popular creators. One of them, Carby Lame, I think maybe some of you guys know, he just goes like this and points at something. And I remember studying that and thinking, why is this like so effective, you know? And really like being able to grab the audience's attention at the beginning, you know, is really powerful, because after that you could then put your own creativity into that. So I kind of was inspired by that and put my own spin on it, which is more like the storytelling side of things. So yeah, when I started doing that, I realized it's a kind of like nearly like a formula here of being able to like, now I have now people are listening, now I have their eyes, now I could put my creativity and my storytelling behind that.
Yeah, makes so much sense. I'd love to hear a bit more about like the selection process. Like, do you find now you've gained such a huge number of subscribers, do you get people tagging you in videos all the time, suggesting that you could make content from that? Yeah,
from time to time I see those things, but a lot of it is really just scrolling on a For You page and or on my feed. And when I feel like my attention is grabbed by something, I know that's an indicator. That's an indicator that there's something there. You know, like, why am I actually watching this video like 30 times? I wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I should create something with that. So that's kind of how the process goes. Or, you know, I write a lot of things in general. Like, I write a lot of stories, a lot of sketches, and then I would reverse engineer the video. So a lot of times people see my videos and think, oh my gosh, how did he go from this clip to this story? Well, you know, sometimes it's really just reverse engineering. I'll have a sketch and be like, how can I work this sketch into this clip? And then that's kind of like where the magic happens.
That's so interesting. I never would have presumed it was that way around, but it makes a lot of sense when you say it. When we further analysed these videos, our AI said that 82% of the hooks were in the first 3 seconds of the video you created. And in those 82%, they all contained what's known as like a visual oddity. And to explain what a visual oddity is, it's essentially something that's kind of surreal or like jars with what you typically expect from when you see, you know, a video or a photograph. So it kind of grabs your attention because it's just a bit odd and unusual. Is that something that you're aware of? Like, are you consciously looking for that when you find these clips?
It makes sense now you explain it. I wouldn't say it's something that I'm so conscious of. It's more like a feeling I have when I see it, and then I know that, okay, there's a sign. But I do like this phrase of an oddity. I'm going to start using that now.
Yeah, wraps them up pretty well.
Yeah.
Do you think those odd clips like give you more room to be creative? Do you think that's probably why?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think when you see something and you're realizing it's grabbing your attention and there's some type of like climax in it, you know, sometimes the video might finish. So for instance, I have this series called Fred the Fish, for instance, where it's like a clip, I'll find a clip of someone throwing a rock off a bridge into water, and right before the rock hits the water, it cuts to the perspective of the fish, and they're just going about their lives, you know. When Fred was about to get married in the first one, oh, I have such a good life, and then boom, the rock hits, you know. So sometimes it's even creating your own clip from something, you know. Even if the video finishes and the rock hits the water, you could cut it and keep the audience waiting. Now you have to watch my creativity before I give you the end of the clip.
Yeah, I love that. And is that, I can imagine that's the sort of thing you get tagged in a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I've been tagged in every rock thrown off a bridge across the whole internet.
Yeah, it's your niche now.
Yeah.
When it comes to branded content on Shorts, I appreciate the added step of licensing a viral clip for brands is often very protracted, it can be quite expensive. By the time you've licensed the clip, it's no longer relevant, etc., etc. So a tip for brands here is to think about those visual oddities and ways that you can kind of grab the attention of the viewer, firstly, obviously, early on, but also in the sense of like thinking about those kind of like obscure, strange, surreal sort of pieces of content that you can create. There's a couple of examples here on the screen, one with Elemis when they hopped on the Tiny Things trend. And then the other example is with the Prep Protect. I've been wanting to call them Prep Project the whole time. Prep Protect, where they find really weird and wonderful ways of seemingly destroying a pair of trainers and then cleaning them up with the product. It's both of those examples are things that kind of grab your attention and they just kind of jar you because they're weird. So the second observation that our AI discovered was that your content is created in such a way that is incredibly timely and topical a lot of the time. Like when you create certain pieces of content that react to something that's happening in the world, you seem to have the ability to say exactly what the world is thinking.
Yeah.
I'd love to know a bit more about when you are reactive. How do you decide what to be reactive to?
It's definitely what engages me.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's really important to be authentic because the audience could definitely feel that. So if I'm interested in the topic, then I already know that, okay, if something's happening around this, I could hop onto it and kind of like hijack the attention that people are already given it. Because, you know, the way that these feeds are working already is that if, for instance, I don't know, like a new phone, Apple or something like that, release a new phone, and everyone's talking about it already, if I make content about that and I like Apple phones, then I know that, okay, we have something here and there's definitely going to be an audience for it.
Yeah, makes so much sense. And like, does that creative process differ when you're being reactive to a piece of content? Like, do you feel like you have to compromise a bit on the creativity to get it out faster?
You know, you definitely have to be fast because with things today, everything is changing so fast. So, you know, what sometimes production might take me 2 or 3 days. If it's something that's timely, I'm saying like, I'm trying to cut it down. I want to stay true to my ideas because I could be a little bit superstitious with it. Like I have to, you know, make sure like I'm true to the ideas. Otherwise, maybe I won't get another idea. But I definitely try to make the process really fast because if it's a day or two late, then it's already too late.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. And for the brands that are in the room, what would be your do's and don'ts around creating reactive content?
I think definitely staying in line with your personal, with your brands. For me, it would be my personal brands, but you know, for the brands, it will be the actual brand. Does the video that I'm making here, does it connect with the brand's image, the brand message? You know, because definitely the audience are going to feel that. You know, and it's not nice to make things too much, too like an ad. Yeah. You know, I think nowadays, like the content that's connecting the most is the content that feels personable. So already, if it's kind of self-aware in that way, then it's already going to connect to more of the audience.
Yeah, I think self-aware is a really good point there. We've got a couple of examples here of brands that have been doing it. The first one is Sky Sports. So someone else has given me this example. I know very little about football. However, this is very important nuance to this. So Sky Sports love to use retro archive clips, but put them in like new and ironic settings where it's like a big wink to the audience and you're kind of in on the joke. So this clip here that they used was a clip of Frank Lampard from 2015 when he was waxing lyrical about how Chelsea will only ever be in the top 6. And then they posted it in 2021 when he'd just been sacked as Chelsea manager because they were languishing at the mid-table the whole time. So that's a great example there of something that's just kind of, you're in on the joke. And then the other example here is one that I love. This was Radio 1's like best video that they've ever produced on YouTube. And it's actually just a clip that they went out into the street. It's super scrappy. Lots of their content is usually very polished, particularly the stuff that they upload to YouTube. And this was an example where they went up to the first random passerby and got him to listen to Dua Lipa's new track. They managed to get the hold of it before anyone else had. And he had no idea who Dua Lipa was, and it was really great content. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's very funny. The third observation that our AI made is how you use motifs and serialize your content. So this could be the repetition of a character. It could be a regular catchphrase. It could be different themes that keep coming back, like Freddy the Fish, for example. And how when you do that, you see a 3 times higher rate engagement in your content when you produce those things. So we're just going to play an example here.
It's an absolute crime what the British call Chinese food. Example 1. Fries? That's a great business move. You love chips. Why wouldn't you sell it? Hurry, sir. Look, there's a lot of Indian restaurants. Take out the Indian competition. Speaking of takeout, you know what the British call Chinese takeout? Getting the Chinese. Come on. We like to remove letters and words in our informal speech. It's just like a bottle of water. Okay. So come on, what's the difference? American Chinese food isn't exactly authentic either. What's that? Orange chicken. They ain't got that in China. That ain't a Chinese dish. It's good though. What's next? Fortune cookies. Fortune cookies are Japanese. Objection. Japan's in China. Right? Order. Neither of you Chinese and are arguing about Chinese authenticity. This is ridiculous. Case closed.
I really fought hard not to make the bottle of water joke as I got on stage, but managed to resist myself. With the exception of the Chewkz fans, who I'm sure are in the audience, it's coming up. The exception of the Chewkz fans who are in the audience, what you won't have realised is that there are actually 3 individual motifs in that content that are repeated characters or catchphrases that Chewkz uses in his content, and therefore people kind of know what they're coming back for on a regular basis. Is there an element of kind of natural intuition when it comes to sort of knowing what those repetitive characters or the kind of catchphrases are? Or are you finding that you lean into audience comments a lot, sort of knowing what, if everyone's screaming for part 2, part 3, is that something that you give the fans, or do you, how much is intuition?
I'll say it's kind of a balance of the two. I think when I'm excited about something, the audience could feel it more, and it's usually going to be a bit more entertaining, a bit more funny, and those things then I serialize and keep bringing it back. But I could also see the effect that the audience are talking about things that I'm excited about. So it's kind of a mix of the two. But I definitely lean into both, what I'm excited about, and read some of the comments and stuff. If people are always saying bottle of water, I'm like, okay, how can I sneak it into another video and just please the audience,
Yeah, fair. And then with the stats, obviously from above here we can see these posts drive so much more conversation. And there's so much world building for you. How much pressure do you feel to keep adding new layers into these worlds in that way?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily so much pressure. I think it's even kind of easier, when you've kind of built, a world, and you've built different characters and stuff, because now you have a format or a frame to put the content into. Just say I wanted to react to something. I could say, okay, well, I have an idea, but now I have characters that could actually react to this, so it doesn't have to be always my perspective or my opinion. I could have a character that's different. For instance, I have this character called Antonio, which is just a fashionista. And anytime there's a fashion event, I'm interested in fashion, but Antonio he loves fashion, so I could give more, extreme versions or extreme perspectives to kind of still keep it, in line with my personal brands, but it doesn't necessarily have to be my opinions.
Yeah, it doesn't limit you.
It liberates me.
Yeah, that's wicked. So for the audience, the third takeaway here is about being able to drive great success on shorts by these repetitive patterns. I think a lot of the time, brands in particular, we're often very pressured as an agency to keep being unique and keep reinventing and creating new things, but actually lots of serialized content and learning what your kind of brand catchphrases are or sort of in-jokes are work really, really well. There's a couple of quick examples here because I know we're running tight on time. Scrub Daddy, every piece of content they produce is with they put the sponge into really unhinged, unusual environments, and then its kind of deadpan face is sort of looked at, and you really anthropomorphize the sponge itself by thinking oh, I know what that sponge is thinking. And everyone that watches the content gives you a reason to keep coming back, and you're kind of in on the joke. And then the other example here is a Nike ad, if you're aware of it, with the pink trainers that are always delivered in a pink briefcase with a goat. I'm told it's something to do with Ronaldinho, a connection to him being an old a long-term like Nike ambassador? I'm not sure
I don't know. I'm
you're
a
aware
basketball
anymore.
guy, to be honest, but probably.
Yeah, fine. I'm told that's the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, that feeling of being on the inside of the joke is probably, I would imagine, a big reason as to how you've managed to build such a deep, loyal community. So I think as we wrap up towards the end here, do you have any kind of final words of wisdom for the audience around how to keep your community so loyal?
Yeah, I think definitely authenticity. I think that's just really key. Because if it connects with you, when you're creating the content, you know it's going to also connect with someone else. It's impossible to really know how other people are going to take what you're making. So if you make it from yourself first, then it's definitely going to connect with people. But just make sure that it's in line with your own personal brand or your own brand.
Yeah, great answer. All right, guys, that wraps us up nicely. I'll leave these on the screen here for you to take as takeaways. Jesse, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.